I thought Frontier Days was brilliant this year. The crowds were epic. The shows were really good. And again, Frontier Days did a wonderful job, their volunteers and their committee, of presenting a great show and a great event for Wyoming. So very, very proud of Frontier Days and everything that it represents for Cheyenne and for Wyoming. Yeah. So first of all, let me just say that I got a chance finally to fly our airline from Cheyenne to Denver on a trip with the military, and I've come to really hate driving I-25. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. The construction, the traffic, what used to take me an hour and 20 minutes sometimes takes 2.5 to 3 hours. And I was amazed. I mean, I was through security in 2 or 3 minutes. I was a 20-minute flight. I was on my flight, and the best part was coming home. You're always tired after a long trip, and I didn't have to drive that road. It was wonderful. And so it was great. And when I came back, Billy Jack's was open, and it was packed. People were everywhere, and I think it's great to see another business open up, and especially when that'll provide those kinds of services for the traveling public as well as for us, seeing the airport terminal get used in a real positive way like that. Well, for me, of course, the location being in the airport terminal is important. I'm sure it's important for the neighborhood, but I think it's great for the whole city. Just another opportunity for us to, from a quality of life, another great place to eat and meet friends. And then also just for the traveling public, you get off that airplane, it's nice to have a great place to stop and eat. So Billy Jack's, I think, is going to be very, very successful. Well, we talked a few months ago about unpaid parking tickets and our effort to get those collected. And so we bought the Barnacle parking system that immobilizes a vehicle. And when you get that put on your vehicle, you have to pay the tickets and the cost of the Barnacle to get it off. And so we've implemented that 21 times in the first 4 months. We've collected a little over $30,000 in unpaid parking tickets, but today we have 3,400 unpaid tickets and $204,000 still outstanding. And so instead of just putting barnacles on the very worst offenders, we're going to apply that to anybody who has more than 3 parking tickets. And so my hope would be that if you have 3 parking tickets, call us, we'll make it a payment plan for you. We'll work whatever we can to make it happen. But if we find your vehicle, we're going to immobilize it until you pay your tickets. And so my hope would be that you would choose to let us work with you, but you've got to pay your tickets. And so our community service officers will be out looking actively for these cars, and we're going to try to get those 3,400 tickets paid and get that $204,000 collected. Yeah, so there's no question, the Barnacle can only be used, though, on windshields that aren't cracked. And so there's vehicles that we can't install the Barnacle on, so we have the old-fashioned boots. And you're right, the disadvantage of a boot is you're going to have to call the city, and we're going to have to come out with an officer and take that boot off, which we're happy to do. But the Barnacle makes it easier. You can just, you call the number, they give you a code, you put it on, the Barnacle comes off, and you just return it to the parking garage. So it's a much easier system to use. But I think the key part is that we have parking regulations because we want to turn those parking spaces so people can park downtown as customers. And when employees park extended periods of time, it limits the amount of parking for customers, and it makes our downtown merchants less successful. So that's why we're trying to move this, is to make sure we open that up so people have a place to park, so downtown is more financially viable. Yeah, so in 2015, we entered into an enhanced use lease negotiation with the Air Force. And basically that is a private-public partnership where the Air Force owns the land, but a private developer will develop it. And the goal is to put affordable housing so airmen getting out of the dorms have a place that they can afford to live, a quality place where they can afford to live. I'm hearing numbers as high as 1,200 of our airmen live in Colorado and commute. And when we interview them, part of it's their CSU down there, and there's people, a lifestyle change. But for the majority of them, it's just a lack of quality housing opportunities. And so that's the important part of it. So we met with the people from Little America to talk about the project, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks to a month, we'll have a new partner, and we'll see if we can't get this project moving. Yeah, so the Metropolitan Planning Organization is a federally funded planning organization for larger metro areas, 50,000 or more. And it's made up of the city, the county, and YDOT. And we're talking about next year, starting October 1st, what projects should we be doing? One I'm excited about is the Greenway from the base along the creek into Martin Luther King Park, to open up the Greenway to people who live on the base. We're talking about safe routes to school for kids and safer crosswalks. Southwest Drive, there's some potential development happening there. So how do we want to realign Southwest Drive so it's safer for that development to happen? So it's an opportunity for us to use federal dollars to help plan for our transportation future. And I found that I really enjoy those conversations.